welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be servicing the Bobcat T180. Basically we're gonna be changing the oil, changing all the filters that we can access. I think there's one filter that's kind of under the cab that I'm not gonna do because it actually got changed recently out of the normal maintenance cycle, so that one's good to go. Service is just the first step in a broader, we call it a makeover, not really an overhaul, but a broader makeover of the Bobcat. The goal is just to take care of this machine. It's taking care of us, but I'll turn the camera around here. All right, so here's the venerable T180. This has been the machine that's pretty much created the farm out here with respect to clearing land and grading things out and lifting things and pulling things. I mean, this is the multi-tool of the farm. But as you can see, it just needs a little bit of love. Not only does it need its service, but it just needs to be cleaned up, cleaned out. Maybe a new seat. Headliner's falling down up here. So essentially, today I'm going to start with the service because that just needs to be done. But we're going to be putting new tracks on here. We're going to get some new sprockets. I've already got those in the garage, so those are ready to go. Then of course all the servicing, and the really exciting part, guys, is that I'm going to paint this thing. And not only am I going to paint it, I'm going to go a little bit over the top and go crazy, and I'm going to Raptor line it. I'm going to Raptor line it the factory colors, the tintable Raptor liner. I'm also going to put all new decals on here all the way around. So I'd like to take this machine off the farm and do some work, and I want to make sure it looks nice before I start doing that. I want to look nice and professional. So quick little before shot. Got some exciting work. I'll take you along with me on that process and the journey. It's hot, middle of the summer, late summer here in North Carolina, so I'm sweating as per usual. Alright guys and girls, I'm gonna go ahead and do this project inside the barn today. There's a thunderstorm coming, so we'll be in here under the roof in case it starts downpouring on us. It wouldn't be an end of the world either way, but we'll have some cover in case that happens. Okay, so we're going to basically replace all the filters that we see in here. So hydraulic filter up here, oil filter down there at the bottom, or on the side there, and fuel water separator as well. We're going to get all those replaced along with the air filter. Other than that, I want to go in here and just kind of clean out all this debris that's sitting down there. Come up here and clean out everything going on up in this thing. Hop in there when we have a second. But yeah, I will start by draining the oil, which is going to be from this little hose right here. So that'll be my next step. Let me go get the drain pan. This is the actual drain plug right here for the Bobcat, which is kind of convenient. You don't have to get up under it. It's a little hose that sticks out the back. And I'm going to use a adjustable wrench in a 15/16, because that seems to do the trick. She's on there. It's a little extra on the handheld fill, so I'm going to use the impact. Cause I bought this thing recently and I haven't had a chance to use it on anything, so hopefully it's not too much. We'll see. Perfect. Well, that worked like a charm. Let's get her off and we'll be good to go. Boom. Alright, very slow drip of a process here. I'm going to move over to the here's an idea. While that's draining, I'm going to come in here and try to clean out the inside of this. See, there's just all sorts of junk and garbage and spider webs, and there's probably like snakes and lizards down here too. So I'm going to come in here and just start cleaning this out by hand while it's draining. It'll be part of the restoration process of the Bobcat. Look at this headliner. It's basically falling off of there, so I'm going to see if I can get some glue or get a new one of those and add that back. Okay, making a mess now. And we're just down to a little trickle everywhere, so about to wrap up the draining part of this. Looks like we got some company over here. Chickens love it in here. They like to give themselves dust baths on the crushed rock flooring of the barn, but it's also kind of a pain because they make divot holes everywhere and twist your ankle or longer level in here. Alright, so next I'm just going to throw back on the fresh oil filter, and just like you do in a car, you just kind of screw it on there, give the lip a little bit of lubrication with whatever oil you're using, and you're good to go. New oil filter now. Just get the little gasket here nice and lubed up. I'm not going to bother filling the actual filter before I put it on. I don't know why that never do a lot of oil changes. That's never been an issue for me. So I didn't have the actual Bobcat filter where I went, so I'm getting a equivalent. It's 1521 is the number on it, which should match up. And just go hand tight. I like to give it a little extra with the pliers, the wrench rather, and I just do another quarter turn or so. That should be good. All right, so got the oil drained out. You can see it's still dripping just a little bit. It's coming out of there. What I'm gonna do, I stole this from a fellow YouTuber, is I'm gonna actually leave the drain plug off of there as I fill it, and when that starts to run clear, or like fresh clean oil out of the drain plug there, basically drain hose, I'm going to cap it at that point. That way I'll know I got all the old oil out of there. And then I'm just using this for the oil. which is what I use in all the diesel oil changes I do. So I'm pouring it in now. Got my eye on it. Until we start to see some clear oil come on out of there. Here we go. There we go. Still dark. Looking pretty good. Yeah, it's nice and clear now. I can tell. Let's cap it up. I ended up with, you know, a few extra quarts of oil anyway, so sacrifice a little bit to the drain pan. We will know that we have all clean oil in the machine. I'm a big fan of this funnel. Look at the way, oops, let me make a mess. The way it just kind of sits in this engine block, and it'll just really kind of hold itself in place. Say we have a little less than 4 quarts in there. This takes 9.5, so we'll get all this in here and open up another jug. Okay, that should do the trick. But we won't know till we test it out. So next step is to turn the engine over, let it run, and then check the dipstick. All right, we're back. The new camera battery died already. Guess I've been running it most of the day. I didn't realize it would die so quickly. But anyways, what you missed was I just installed the new hydraulic filter. Not a whole lot going on there. Just primed it with a little bit of hydraulic fluid in the filter itself and screwed it on. So next step is going to be doing the fuel filter or fuel water separator. So we've got let's see here, get this off the bottom. Should work like a screw-on thing. We got to figure that out, and then what we'll do is put the new one on, and then we can use this thing up here, and that'll bleed it. So I'll pump diesel with this little bulb here, which will then prime this filter. What I think I'll do before I do any of that, though, is I'm gonna take this down to the fuel shed. I'm gonna take the plastic off and fill it up with diesel. That way we don't have to prime it so much. And then that'll go in there like that. So next steps are coming right up. Hand tighten and then 3/4 of a turn. Hand tight, and then let's do 3/4. One quarter, 2/4, and 3. All right, now we need to bleed the air bubbles out. So we got this little screw here that needs to be loosened, and when we loosen that, we'll prime with this bubble here, and that will get all the air out of the system, which is in here. Shitty little screwdriver. Go find something else. I couldn't exactly get my slot screwdriver into the screws, and I didn't want to mess it up, so I just found some random pliers here, and this seems to do the trick just fine. I don't know how this just needs to be, but I heard some air come out, so it must be good. And we want to prime this. The idea is to squeeze this bulb until there's no air bubbles coming out up here. close already though. Yeah, I'm squeezing. There's really no air bubbles coming out of there. Let those pop just to make sure. Yep, it's just diesel. Cool, we're done. So that's how you add the new filter and bleed the line out. You can hand tighten it from here, and then I'm gonna give her a good snugging down with the little pliers here. Hate using pliers and stripping things, but couldn't do it the other way, so that's how it gets done. Just be nice and steady. Okay. All right, so now the next step is I'm gonna go over here and turn it over and pour this into all the oil we captured. And recycle that. And I got a big mess back here, but everything except the oil filter is done now. So let's turn this thing over and see how we're doing. I'm sweating intensely. Actually got lightheaded when I stood up. All right. Here we go. Uh-oh, I hear a little bit of stuttering. That's not good. What did I do wrong? All right, nothing's leaking. Prime it some more. Okay, so I haven't started it yet. You can prime it. You can feel it pushing diesel through the system. I'm not getting any drips on this thing. Now when I've done this in my truck, I have a Cummins and I do the service on that. Sometimes it takes a few turnovers to get it to work right. So maybe the same thing's happening here. So we're gonna try that again. All right, no love. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna go back and prime it again, see what happens. We are running. Idling. Everything is looking good, it's sounding good. All I needed to do is just turn it over a few more times and basically prime it completely, which is the same procedure I do whenever I change the oil and the fuel filters on my 6.7 liter Cummins. But I think sometimes when you're doing something for the first time by yourself, you're kind of questioning, do I really know how to do this? But sure enough, just had to crank it over a few more times with the starter on the Bobcat, and it bled out all the air in the fuel lines, and then just turned her over. She's running fine. Gonna change out the air filter next. Should be easy peasy. Looks like one of the tracks is in desperate need of some tensioning. All right, I just putting in the new air filter, and I was like, oh, this will not even be worth recording, but look how filthy this thing is. Look at that. Oh my. I'm glad we did that. Bunch of in here I'll clean out too. This is egregious. We should clean that out a little bit more. Never actually realized that. That's what that looked like. So, that said, got a brand new one right over here. Oh, it's a little different. Quite a bit different, actually. It is not going to work. It's the wrong filter. Okay. Well, we're not changing the air filter. We'll do that one next time. We'll take a moment, though, and hit this with like a hair duster. Try to get it cleaned out a little bit. It's terrible. So, anyway, always check your filters. All right, now we're going to tension up this track. This is part of our maintenance. I'm really excited to clean this thing. You can see I just have grass growing on the machine itself. It's turned into its own ecosystem. But I'm going to give it a good once over, pressure wash tomorrow. I'm going to get in here and just get all that shit out of there. Sorry, stuff out of there. I love a greased machine, but you know, it's just a freaking mess. Also in this engine bay, there's all sorts of junk down there. So gonna spend a little bit of time tomorrow just doing a once over on everything to get it cleaned up. But in the meantime, we'll get these tracks tensioned. Well, I forgot to record it, but basically the Zerk fitting in here is the one that you want to use to tension the track, and I put a good squirt in there and it's nice and level again. Technically I need to lift this off the ground to actually accurately measure what it's doing at the bottom of the rollers, but sometimes when the track has that much slack in it, it's just a better idea just to go ahead and hit it up and give her some juice. So I'm gonna wrap up for today. Got done everything I wanted to, minus the air filter. I think everything else looks really good. I'm not seeing any drips, even though it's wet down there. It's just a mess I made. I'll take a look at it again in the morning when I'm running it, but we're good. Close. For now, I'm gonna haul this used oil down to our used oil storage, and then take this thing for a spin, make sure everything's good to go. So we'll check back with you guys tomorrow when I do the power washing of this. I'm gonna lift up this cab, show you guys how I do that. Other plans that I didn't mention were these cylinders. They need to be repacked. Well, one of them needs to be repacked, which my dad actually tried to do himself, and you know, he repacked it, but it's still got a little drift in there, so it's dropping, sloppy, just loose. And we replaced the main cylinder pump, whatever that thing is called, to sound like I don't know anything. We replaced that, and I think what happened was like all of these cylinders, our original equipment, and like the seals just kind of started leaking in one of them, and we fixed that one, but you know, it's going to be a series of that one goes, this one goes, this one goes, because we have a new strong pump in there now. So I'm just going to take them all off, and I'm going to have take them up to a hydraulic shop and just have them repack them for me. I mean, it's something I could do myself, but it seems, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on it, and it just seems like pretty tedious work, and I'm not into it, so I'm not going to do it. But that said, that'll be part of the overhaul and or makeover that we're doing with this thing. So stay tuned for more. I'll catch you guys in the morning.